Hello, 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 and welcome to Vibe It Up, multiple streams of consciousness. We are here today at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with our favorite guest star, Dr. Doug Lehrer. And Dr. Doug Lehrer is going to be talking to us today about the keys of raising your consciousness. Dr. Doug Lehrer is a master transformational healer, a visionary, and an innovator of cellular resonance cell to soul healing. It's a powerful energy medicine system that finds and clears the traumatic stress that gets stuck in your brain and your body. And it deeply affects you and interferes with your health, your happiness, your relationships, and success. Dr. Doug is the author of The 7 Quantum Healing Secrets. He's a board certified doctor of chiropractic and board certified quantum medicine doctor from the American Naturopathic Board of Medicine. Dr. Doug is the founder of the Lehrer School of Energy Medicine and Rich in Health Foundation nonprofit that teaches doctors and healing professionals how to heal the stress, emotions, and epigenetic generational patterns to activate your brain, your body, and your soul's natural self-healing powers and embody your true self-purpose, prosperity, love consciousness. Dr. Doug has performed over 500,000 patient healings worldwide. He practices in Hollywood, California, and Dr. Doug helps change makers, luminaries, entrepreneurs, professionals, executives, royalty, athletes, celebrities, actors, producers, directors, and writers, and parents, children, and teens. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Doug Lehrer.
Thank you, Lexis.
Hey, Dr. Doug, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
So, we want to start this program off. I know we've had you on before, and maybe our guests know who you are, maybe they don't. But what they all need a clear understanding of in order for us to have our show. If you're going to talk to us about consciousness, what is consciousness?
All right. Well, that's a great question. And if you go to the dictionary, it'll say your level of awareness, but it doesn't
Mhm.
say what you're aware of. so I want to start there. Our
Okay.
awareness, our awareness. Let's just start with our awareness of who we truly are. We are spiritual beings undergoing a physical, human, material existence. And we need to have this awareness of this soul spirit being that we are, and an awareness of our physical, our body, our mind, and even what's going on in the background so that we can be present. The key is
Mm.
present time consciousness, to be in the now, to be in that present time where there is no other time. We are just here in the now. This is where we actually can enjoy life. This is where we're not worrying about, the future, fearing the future, thinking about the past, reacting to the past. We're here in the now. I can say a lot more. We'll start with that.
That's great. So, I know Eckhart Tolle talks about living in the now, and I think a little bit of that needs to be explained too, because what people do in life is they complain and they try to make other people feel better by saying, "Yeah, me too." So they talk about, "Oh, I had a crappy day," and the other one says, "Oh, yeah, I had a crappy day too. Isn't that suck? Doesn't that suck? Life sucks. This sucks. They suck. That sucks." It's all about the sucking and how bad things are. And what they're really doing is they're attracting more of that into them. And when you're talking about the past and how bad something was, how bad it made you feel, what a negative experience it was, you're asking the universe to bring you more of that. And it's whether you call it the universe or your reticular activating system in your brain, doesn't matter how it works, that's what's happening. And the
Yeah.
same thing with the future. You can't live too far in the future either, right? Because then you're always saying it's going to come to me. It's going to happen. I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I find
Yeah.
the right guy. I'll be happy when the business takes off. I'll be happy when the money comes in. I'll be happy when, right? So
Yep.
what's your answer to how to live in the now? Because we all know what not to do because I just told you.
Right.
What do we do to live in the now?
Yes, absolutely. Uh, what we need to do.
On the spot a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was a great intro.
What about
We
that?
we we need our conscious mind and our unconscious mind and our subconscious mind and our superconscious mind all aligned in the present together. The deal is our subconscious unconscious mind gets programmed by our mother, father, preachers, teachers, television, social media, all of our surroundings, bullies, kids in school, our peers.
Mhm.
And what happens is now our subconscious, because it's designed to survive. So survival is the key thing, right? Especially in this third dimensional, fourth dimensional overlay of consciousness that humanity is as a whole
Let's
presently
call
in.
it what it is, Doug. It's the Matrix. Everyone knows about the Matrix. The Matrix
Right.
wasn't just a movie. It's a roadmap of what we're living through, right?
Right. So the thing is that the good news, that matrix has been taken down, but we still have all the matrix programming in us. So really, the key is to be able to update our subconscious, our and our unconscious mind, to update it to present time, the present need. Because if we're still reacting to those bears and tigers of the past in each moment, remember our ego mind, our ego consciousness, or our survival consciousness is always asking a question in the background. What does this mean? And how do I respond?
Mhm.
What does this mean? And how do I respond? So do I run from the bear? Do I, give a big retort? Do I say, hi, yes, everything is lovely today? It's like it's searching constantly. So when we're in the present, then that search isn't going on. We're just present with the person, place, everything. But our subconscious is going like, will that bear come out and jump and bite me, or will kill me? And so, we have to look at what we're programmed with, what's really, keeping us out of this present time consciousness.
Interesting, interesting. But
Yeah.
why is raising our consciousness so necessary? Like, what's the deal?
Well, if I know we have an audience probably at all different levels, so let's just bring everyone up to date. We are
Okay,
in what is considered a great awakening of humanity. It is
exactly.
it is destined and it's been predestined, and it's in the astrology. It's in the
Don't I know?
yes, you're as astrologist that humanity begins to wake up. Now, the thing is we either wake up to the survival consciousness, more fear, more bear, more stuck in that, or we raise our consciousness up out of fear to higher levels. So
Mm,
consciousness, let's get the more modern updating of it, is consciousness is the vibrational frequency that you operate on. We're going to talk a lot about this. I think it's pretty much going to be the main thing for the show. I know you're asking the questions, but I know where we're
yep.
probably going to go with this is raising our consciousness. See, in my technique, in my soul to cell healing, I talk
Mhm.
about healing being the journey from fear to love, from the soul to the cell. So it is raising out of this fear-based survival consciousness, which we'll talk a lot more about today, and I'm sure, and move up to this consciousness of love, which is different than the I love you consciousness. And I'll just set that up for your next questions. Very
Well,
different than
before
consciousness. Do what I say,
mhm.
or I'll divorce you. Uh, that's not love consciousness.
You sound like a cartoon character. This is very serious stuff, though. So we're going to be right
Yes,
back. We're
and
going
fun,
to
and
go to
light, and
we're going
fun.
to go to a commercial break, and I want you to take out your phones, like we always do. Put your cameras on, and we're going to scan the QR code because we have a gift for you. Let's see which
Yay.
gift it is this time. We'll be right back with Dr. Doug Lehrer. gift looked so good, I got my camera out to scan it for myself. Okay, so we were talking about consciousness. I think we have a pretty good idea of what consciousness is, but what level of consciousness is humanity at right now, and where do you suspect we're headed?
Yeah. Well, according to David Hawkins, who wrote the book Power versus Force, Eye of the
Mhm.
Eye 1 and 2, which are books on consciousness. He had to be a medical doctor, but left that consciousness of medicine to look for the answers. And he saw that the answer to healing and so forth was raising your consciousness. And he was very attuned and aware and conscious. And so he created this scale of consciousness. And according to Dr. Hawkins, humanity's consciousness is in this survival place, this victim level consciousness. And there's different layers. There's really deep victimhood, like that's way down here, and that would attract people to become alcoholics and drug addicts and uh, major complainers. And if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. Everything is poor, oh, woeist me, and that. So that's the that lower area of victim consciousness. And then we have this kind of this in between side. But more and more humanity is starting to realize now. In fact, in the astrology, by 2027, humanity as a whole, this is exciting, in 2027, August, I don't know the exact date, but it's August of 2027, comes to this realization: I must leave victim consciousness. I'm not a victim. I may be acting, I may be experiencing victimization type of things, but I don't choose that anymore. There's going to be this conscious choice. And people are already consciously choosing that because we're moving towards that for more and more people in that. So
Mhm.
that's exciting. We're in 2022. That's 5 years from now. And we're already having more than 20%, more than 30, more than 25. No, about 20% of humanity is already in this place of, I'm not a victim. I don't choose this. I choose to raise my consciousness. It's very exciting. That's
Mhm.
20% is like what, 1.4 billion people, according to whatever the population of 7 something billion
Well, I
is.
know we all talk about a lot of people talk about the rich, the super rich, and how they control the world and how they are out to get us. Yet, so many of us aspire to become richer. So it's kind of a struggle and a fight, and our brains and minds are twisted about all of this. And part of this is the 3D consciousness, because the 3D is the physical world, right? The world of limitation, because we have a body, but we're energetic beings. The body's just the vehicle that we drive to learn and experience and facilitate while we're here. But what is the fifth dimension, and why do we skip over the fourth dimension? Like, what's all that about? What's your opinion on that?
Oh, boy, well, I'm glad you asked that question. That's an interesting one.
Thank you.
A
I
real
don't ask the same questions.
but you said so much in your introduction to that question. I just wanted to say that just because someone's ultra rich and controls the systems doesn't mean they have high consciousness. They're in victim consciousness as well. They just operate at a higher
Okay,
level of
well, it's just to go a
control.
step back. Why I said what I said was because you said there's 25% of the people are in the awakened consciousness. So we talk about the 1% of the people who are they.
Oh,
We say they control the world. They're the bad guys. They cause the trouble. They're causing limitations, right? I
right.
won't say
And as
what
soon as you say that stuff, you just lowered your consciousness, you feed
exactly.
into that consciousness, and you recreate that consciousness. Because if there's anything that's most important in this show today, I'm going to say it right now. You are co-creating this reality with your consciousness. We need you to be not just the 20%, but the 20%, 100, the active people raising their consciousness and doing it in a way that actually works, that really does raise it up. And I'll talk about when I work with people how quickly their consciousness does shift upward.
And
But
that's why the show's called Vibe It Up. We're vibing it
yeah,
up. We're raising our
this
vibrations up.
is the most important thing we can all be doing, is getting out of our own fear-based consciousness so that we don't can feed into that. You see, whoever controls consciousness wins the game. But your consciousness, you can change it. So you're in charge of your consciousness. And we all contribute our consciousness into the collective unconsciousness. And the
Mhm.
key is not to be feeding into the collective unconsciousness of fear, pain, misery, and
Mhm.
and then we buy all these things to try to solve these problems. Like, maybe I just need a better car. Maybe I need a prettier dress. And I like nice cars and I like pretty dresses and suit dress for me. Pretty
Very
dresses.
nice
I love that too. I love people dressing up. But the key is that when talking about consciousness, that the material things aren't the solution to raising our consciousness. We have to raise our consciousness, and part of that is prosperity consciousness, and that's
shirt.
where 5D. I heard your question. 5D consciousness is where there's unity amongst us. We're not in competition. That's survival consciousness, the survival of the fittest thing from the Darwin thing. By the way, he was paid to say that stuff. So, hey, kind of, it's like, yeah, and then they made that popularized so people would buy into survival of the fittest, which was really survival of the richest. And so
Oh, I
we need,
understand that on his deathbed, he called for a priest, and they said, "Why are you calling for a priest? You don't believe in all this stuff." And he said, "I didn't say it what I believed in. I said it was a theory."
exactly.
Right? It's a theory. When push came to shove, he wanted to make sure he was getting through the pearly gates, right?
That's right. That's right. So we have to make this really commitment to ourselves. This is most important. What I think about, how I respond, how I feel, but going beyond that, what level of consciousness am I now resonating at, and how do I raise that resonance to a higher level and operate from there? Because the higher you go, the more prosperity, abundance, love, light, joy, harmony, inner peace exists within you. And, it's what's inside you. That heaven lies within,
Mhm,
as it was said by a great, great man. So
mhm.
heaven lies within. We need to access that heaven, and that is 5D, the fifth dimension at
Okay,
this point. Yeah.
so basically it's a choice, but as easy as it and I hate that word, but as easy
Honestly,
as
it's
it
easy.
it stops the sentence. I'm like, "Okay, I like what you have to say. However, there's it's easier said than done is what I'm trying to say." So you need to give us some little tips on how to do this because I've worked with you a lot, and it's wonderful when you say to me, "Oh, those things aren't going to happen. Those things you're concerned about, they're not going to happen." I'm like, "How can you say they're not going to happen? What do you got a crystal ball?" And you're like, "Well, kind of." And I'm like, "No, no, no. Really, what is it?" And the real reality of it is that the state that you are putting out there is the state you're going to track back. So it's not when I get the thing, then I'll be happy. It's be happy now and you'll get the thing. Whatever it is that you think will make you happy, act as if you've already got it. But how do we do that? How do we
Yeah.
do that when the landlord's pounding and the money's not there and you haven't got it for the rent and the kids are crying and the guy gets fired from his job? How do you get yourself into this wonderful happy state when all around you it looks like doom and gloom?
I know it's. I didn't say it was easy. It's a challenge when you have all when
I
when you put it that way. This is the average American
know
family. All these
you
things
can't
going
do
on
that.
here.
No,
Right.
no, no. You can't just say, "Just do it." You have to have some answers
No,
for
no,
us.
no. I do. I do. We have to
Okay.
take responsibility for our past, because this past of our life has programmed us. If we were, let's just use, because Stanford University did a scale of abuse and found that everybody was abused. We call it the
Really?
ACE study. So yes, the entire
That
world is abused and traumatized. This is
sometime
Stanford
in their
University.
lifetime
Pardon?
sometime in their lifetime they get abused, or we're all abused as kids, or what was their
Yeah.
foundings?
Yeah, kids just go to school. I mean, just get compared to other kids with grades, and the bad reading group. I was in the Bluebird group when I was in first grade because I talked, see, spot, run, very slow.
See,
Very,
in
you know,
our Bluebird group was all about math, and they wanted us to memorize, and I wanted to be a bluebird because blue is my favorite color, but I got to be a robin because I couldn't answer the questions fast enough. I was just shy, and I had a hearing problem we
right,
didn't know about, so I could never catch up. I was
right,
given a bad impression of myself that I was bad at
exactly.
math right from the
Right.
very beginning. because I didn't want to be a little brown robin. I wanted to be a nice, pretty bluebird.
Right. And and we think these things are silly as adults. These are very serious to children. I mean, these are, and they program us the way that we're judged, the way that we're.
Obviously, it's very important. I'm 68 years old, and I'm still remembering what happened when I was 6,
There you
5.
go. Yeah. So, what is it in your past? I'm going to ask the audience, what is it in your past, in your childhood, that traumatized you? What made you not feel good about yourself? Not good enough, not perfect enough, not smart enough, not thin enough, not pretty enough, not whatever enough. This is part of 3D consciousness. You asked
And
about.
and the media then takes those traumas that it knows we've all got,
Feeds it
and
right
it
back.
you need to be model thin. You need to be ultra rich. You need to have the fancier car. You need to have the bigger house. You need to have the fancier degree after your name, right? And you don't need to have any of those things to be happy.
You need to be connected to your own heart, to
Exactly.
your highest self. Most of humanity is separated from those things, is disconnected from those things because fear and trauma has put them just in that state. So you have to reconnect. In answer to your question earlier, you have to reconnect to your heart, reconnect to your highest self, and that does take some work. Most meditation teachers don't teach how to do that. I help my patients when I work with them literally go into a like what they call a Zen state, or a delta wave brain state, and usually about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we go even deeper, 20, 30 minutes. You're in that state. So
I
when
gotta
you come
stop
out of
here.
that,
I gotta
you're
stop
connected.
because no. Stop. Because
Yeah.
there's some questions here I know the audience is going to be thinking about. And that's that a few minutes ago, before the commercial, you said that we had a conscious and a subconscious and a superconscious and another conscious that I don't even know what it was. I need you
Oh,
to explain those. And then we need to get into this, because
oh,
this, right? How does this all relate? Because you said some confusing things there. So bring it on.
right. So we have our subconscious mind, which
Okay.
is the storehouse of all of our reactions, thoughts, feelings, experiences of the past. And then we have our unconscious mind that that uh, was in our mother as an egg. There's this unconsciousness on how to survive, because it's called epigenetics. We carry all these experiences from our family to prepare how to survive. So if they
Mhm.
were in the Great Depression, now we're preparing how we're going to survive the Great Depression. That doesn't help you become prosperous and abundant,
No,
right?
because it's worry.
So
It's all about
that
worry.
stuff is in there. And then we have our conscious mind, which is uh, what's listening actively to this TV show. Your conscious mind is talking, saying things, and it's interacting with the unconscious and subconscious. And then we have our superconscious mind, which we can call the God mind or a higher self, but we need to
Okay.
reconnect to the superconscious mind. And most everybody is blocked from that at some level, most pretty severely. And so that's how we get whipped up into fear and all that kind of stuff, because we're not connected to all that there is in our heart,
Mhm.
downloaded in, where we're going, I know who I am, and I know what I'm about, and I know what I'm creating, because I'm in that knowing that everything's all right. I know that I'm creating this peace, love, joy, reality. And the more of us that can connect to that, see, those realities already exist on the upper. You just need to resonate up to that frequency that's already that. A lot of people think, I got to be that. No, you just need to resonate. You need to resolve the lower frequencies of trauma and wounding that's in you. And there's a difference between the two, and raise up, and then meet this vibration that's already there, because we live in a creative universe. I mean, it's created by greatness and creative power, and all the different vibrations exist. We just need to tune up, just like a radio station. You want to go from uh, uh, I know we have all these different musical tastes out there, but let's just say a low vibrational station of music, whatever that is, and raise up to a higher vibration of sound. Makes sense?
Okay. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to ask the question about why human beings would exist in the first place. If we came from God and we're trying to get back up to consciousness like God, why on earth did they lose that consciousness in the first place? But I have a feeling your answer is going to be for the experience, to have the experience. So I'm going to go to a different question because I think that's what you're already going to answer, and I don't want to go there. And this is extremely controversial, and I'm not even sure I even believe in this, but TV shows and movies seem to perpetuate belief systems. And instead of coming out and saying, hey, this is the way it is, they infiltrate our minds with like the Matrix, like the movie The Matrix, that gives us an idea of something. And so that we get the information, but we don't know if it's true or if it's just a movie. And I know you have some examples of that. And you're talking about consciousness simulations. So can you go there? And I've got a dog
Well,
that's chewing something he shouldn't be chewing.
well, everything you've seen in the movies, everything that Hollywood has created, you know, in a general sense, it all exists. The scary
Mm,
movies, all that stuff, everything is there because man's creative nature is to is to
be
plug in
creative.
all that there is. Like Einstein, he plugged into E equals mc squared. He went into that higher vibration of knowledge base, and then he brought that down into this dimension. But we are here, you see, we are here for the experience of separation, of
Mhm.
this good, bad, right, wrong,
We're here for
judgmental.
separation? Did I hear you correctly? We're here for separation?
We're here to experience it and then find our way out of it. It's like a game, it's like like a little maze, right? So we're here. The problem is we forgot that we were in a game. We forgot that we're in this simulation, and that the name of the game is to let go of our fear, for real, that vibration, and move up the frequencies of
How do you
consciousness.
do that when you're absolutely in that, "Oh my god, I see the black figure, like, I'm seeing the shadows and it's dark and I can't see what it is. It's blackness out and it's a dark figure and it's a shadow and I can see him coming and I know he's got a knife or a gun or something in his hand and I see him coming and I'm trying hard to get away, but oh my gosh, I can only go so fast. I've got to carry the baby or I've got, whatever." How do you not be afraid? How do you be
All right.
afraid?
Now you got to understand something. What you just said, if that's a real situation, yeah, you should be in fear. There is a danger because that's real at the moment, and find your way to get away.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
all right. I'm talking about when that experience is still running you, or it was a judgment, or someone saying you're stupid, and now
Okay,
you're in fear
now
of
I'm
being stupid all the time, and then that's what's running your consciousness when none of that's going on. If it's for real, if there's a real bear there, heck, have
run.
fear,
Yeah,
run.
get out of
Because
the
the
way.
fear stimulates your adrenal glands, and your survival systems physiologically changes your hormones to get away. You even
Mm.
heard where, the car rolled over on the baby and the mother lifted the car up and grabbed the baby away. I know it was a Volkswagen, but still, yeah, it's a car.
Still a two-ton car.
Yeah, absolutely. Why? Because the adrenaline and those hormones gave super strength for just a few seconds, just enough to save that person's life. And
Mhm.
in fact, we all know that. Well, depends on our age. If you watch the movie Rocky, the first one, Rocky is like,
Dun,
punch
dun,
me
dun, dun,
more,
dun,
because
dun, dun,
he
dun.
needed he wanted to have that adrenaline turn on, where he become the super strength would come up physiologically, like hormonally, so he could, you know, go at it on the other guy.
Exactly. Okay, so
Right.
you talk about the games and we talked about movies. What about The Hunger Games? Because that was a movie in which it seemed like it was good and evil, and it seemed like they were trying to suck the players in the movie, the actors, into this game of negativity and judgment and revenge and
Exactly.
killing and doing whatever the heck you please just for the heck
Right.
of it.
And right.
But
And she won the game by being true to her heart, by not trying to get everyone to kill each other, to basically to build a team that would support and not do that. And at the end, she refused to kill the other guy and brought him up on the rock, says, we're the winners, done. And, she changed the rules, right, of the reality. And that's the whole point. In fact, that movie's showing us if we become unity, if we work together but as long as everyone has got all these different, it says it in the Old Testament, right? God was pissed off. Well, it wasn't God, but we were separated with all these different, religions and cultures and belief systems. So we couldn't team together again and say, no, we're not gonna, cave in to being, slaves of another race at the time. That's what that's
So
really
are
about.
we in a consciousness simulation? Are we in a consciousness simulation? Are we in a real game?
I'd rather say there are scientists that have speculated that and proven on different levels that we are. But understand, we live in a holographic universe, and it is a construct of energy that then becomes material, physical. We can feel it, reality. So, if there's a punch coming your way, you might want to, duck. Exactly, because we are working that until you can raise your consciousness like Neo to a level where he rose above that. He rose above. You can't look at the movie technically. You have to look at it spiritually. When he knew he was the one, what does that mean? When Neo knew he was, I'm changing the movie to more this reality. When you have your knowing and connection to who you are, then you're not shaken into the fear vibration and you raise up to the higher vibration. And if enough of us do that, we need to raise enough people into a 5D consciousness. It'll bring humanity up to that with something we call it the 100th monkey, because there was a bunch of scientists who dropped potatoes on an island. And when one monkey washed the potato, then sooner or later, the whole group of monkeys just all of a sudden started washing potatoes.
You're bastardizing this whole story. The story goes that there were a series of islands, and
I know. I was trying to make it quick. I didn't get to the other island, but the other island, when all the monkeys finally learned it here, the other island.
There's no possible way the monkey could have shown the other monkey. It had to have been on some unconscious level that all the monkeys started washing.
Once the consciousness on the one island was washing their potatoes, the other island, everyone, all the monkeys all at once
started washing potatoes. Okay, on that note, you take a breath.
All right.
You take a breath. We're going to take a breath. We'll reconnect with you in a minute. We need to get a commercial out of here. Get your phones out, put your cameras on, and scan the QR code because we have a gift for you. We'll be right back with Dr. Lehrer.
Thanks.
And we're back with Dr. Doug Lehrer and his 7 keys of consciousness. And I imagine the 7 keys are in your gift because we haven't even talked about any of the keys yet. So do you want to tell us a little bit about some of these keys just so we get them in before the buzzer and we're done? Because we can debate all day.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, first of all, everyone came in with a primary wound consciousness. It's part of the game, is to dissolve this shadow side of self. And we're affected by all of the ones that I'm going to mention, but we have one that we need to start with, which is the main one that's running us. I know it's 4th of July, but I saw patients before this who drove long ways to see me. And the woman knew that she was stuck in rejection consciousness. She already had that awareness. So what we did was we literally worked on her to resolve this rejection consciousness. How many of you in the audience know you have this fear of rejection, and you that consciousness is always there, this fear that you might be rejected. So we try to figure out all the different ways. That's what our life is. It's this construct of trying to figure out not to be rejected. Sometimes we are, and sometimes we're not, but we're always in this consciousness that rejection is going on. So that's one of these 6 major consciousnesses that run us.
Okay, so let me stop and just sum that up a little bit. So we came into this lifetime in this body to have certain experiences, and one of those experiences you're suggesting might be that. I want to know, once we've had that experience, why do we keep having it?
Yeah, because it's a program. You got to clear the program. If you program your computer to run on a certain software, even and it's corrupted, that's what your computer is going to run off, is that corrupted software. So you have this consciousness that's taking you, that's keeping you over and over and over again, staying into this 3D survival, existence, pain-based consciousness. And we need to dissolve that. So I wanted to add something really important.
Sure.
And we've been talking about this. Everyone wants to know how they can do it, right? And here's the thing. That's part of the trap. We're not meant to, because you brought up Hunger Games, we're not here to do it alone. But that is one of the programs. I got to do it on my own, like do it yourself. Like my father used to say, do it yourself. Find the answers yourself, Douglas. Everything do yourself, do yourself, do yourself. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Is your father watching this show? Do you
no,
really want to see that?
No, it's okay. I hope he's watching it. Hopefully you learn over 60 years, right? But the thing is that we aren't supposed to. Where 2 or more gather in the name of love, in the name of healing, in the name of Source, God, Self, then I am. There is a connection. We are here to do it with each other. We're all aspects of the Creator. We're all supposed to get together and heal with each other. So the resonance. That's why I call my technique cellular resonance, cell to soul. We have to get our cells to resonate with the soul.
Which is another word for vibrate.
Yes.
Vibrating at
the vibrate up, because the soul is already on, but we have our localized soul that also gets traumatized. That's the problem. So when someone who's not in the trauma can work with you in the higher vibration, see, there's a law called higher heals lower. So if you work with a practitioner who's at a higher vibration and they don't have any of the wounding on you, they can actually resonate up and resonate you out of that fear, out of that trauma, out of that rejection program, literally in minutes, sometimes less, but in less.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that the trauma is like a rut in the road, and you go the same path over and over and over again, and the rut gets deeper and deeper. When you're driving down the road, it's real easy to follow the path that's set before you and just fall back into the rut. It's just easier, but you can get out of the rut with a little effort. And you're saying that the effort can be a third or a second person that comes in and helps you out of the rut. Yes?
Right. And what we really do is we literally dissolve the rut.
Okay.
Dissolve the rut so that, when now you're driving, it's like, oh, wow, I don't fall into that rut anymore. I don't fall into that sinkhole. That sinkhole, they're more like sinkholes. You're driving, you lose your whole car in there, right? No, we dissolve it. So all of a sudden, we're driving through life on even ground, right? And then even higher ground and higher ground. So that's what's exciting. And again,
okay. So what are the 7? Like, you don't have to tell us all 7 because we want it to, everybody to get your gift, which will tell us the 7. But name a couple. What's one of the 7 major core wounds?
Guilt.
Oh.
Guilt. All
So
right.
guilt because we did something, or we should have done something, or we
No, we
might have done
already were
something.
born. We were already born into the consciousness of guilt, so we just naturally feel guilty, and then we attract that because we're putting out that energy of guilt. And so it's like, what did you do, young man? What did you do, young lady? you
Now
know?
you sound like me talking to my dog.
Yeah,
All I have to
yeah.
do is say, "What did you do?" And go,
Again, I'm just doing
right?
the dad thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so what happens? It's like you're going like, yeah, what did I do? Oh, I must have done something because they're yelling at me, right? So we buy into it because we're already in that guilt consciousness, you know. And
Mhm.
then we have some of the other ones too. So
Okay,
guilt.
so
And we can argue
we're gonna
about, you
go
know,
to another commercial. We're gonna go to another commercial because I have to do a certain number of commercials here to get everything in that we wanna get in, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about the service to self and, the service to others, okay? So get your cell phones out, we're gonna scan another QR code. We'll be right back with Dr. Doug Lehrer and 7 Keys of Consciousness. Okay, we're back with Dr. Doug Lehrer, and we're talking about the 7 keys of consciousness, and I guess it's consciousness rising, right? So if
right.
if there are various types of consciousness, we've talked about 3D and 4D and 5D, and we've talked about serving yourself and service to others. Explain. Like, I think our
Oh,
audience is getting a little bit confused here with it. We're doing a lot in one show, so
yes.
let's
Well,
slow down the fire a little bit.
3D is the consciousness of service to self. It's all about me, right? What I get, what
Mhm.
I do, and then and then we have the giver taker program within it. So you could be a giver or a taker, and you take and you give, and then it's and then if you're around people that are bigger takers and you're a bigger giver, then you feel like I
Mhm.
just give and give and give, and I just never get. You go through, and that's all part of victimization. So that's what runs this reality. So service to self is, like, what's in it for me? We've all heard that, right? What's in it for me? And service to others is a 5D concept where we're serving from love with and it's unconditional love, which doesn't exist in 3D. So if you kind of want to be in unconditional love, you have to raise your vibration into 5D
Mhm.
consciousness for that to even exist. The love that's in 3D is really need, mistaken as love. I need you. I want you. I love you so much. Will you do this for me, please? It's need rather than service, because service to others, you're already filled up. You're already connected. There's nothing to get. There's nothing to gain. Only to serve and share your gifts, whether it's a beautiful song that you can sing or a massage, or I'm just doing basic things people relate to. But it's about that service to others. And if everyone is serving each other, then we have no lack. But in 3D consciousness, there is lack. There is need, greed, lack.
Okay,
And
I
that's
get it. I get
runs
what
the,
you're saying. If
yeah.
we could live in a world, if we could just wave a magic wand and the transition wasn't so difficult to get from, that to that. If what you're basically saying is like money is a representation of a symbol, like it's a symbol of service to others. It's a value, right? So when I give something to you, you could give something back to me. It doesn't have to be dollars, but in the general scheme of things in the world, in our civilization, someone created that, like a dollar, to be a symbol of service. So I could get something from you and have an I owe you in this piece of paper, right? So all of the people who are heart-centered entrepreneurs, and I know this is about our show on Thursdays about building an income online with your wellness business, but with service to others, we have so many people that give, and they say, oh, it's a God-given talent, I shouldn't charge. But that's a lack mentality as well, because
Yeah, well,
they're
that's
giving and they're not
yeah.
letting the other person have the opportunity to give. So it's a selfish thing to not charge,
Right,
right?
because that's one of the primary wounds. You know, we feel guilty for, we were talking about guilt, guilty for charging.
Hmm.
So that we have to resolve that consciousness, and because 5D consciousness is prosperity, fertility, abundance. It has no fear of lack or having lack. It just is in that vibration. But we have to take responsibility. What is creating that lack for us? I just had another patient come in today, and their father, uh, you know, uh, used to just leave and be gone for like 6 months
Like just leave,
because
or his job made him
just
leave?
leave, just leave and come back, leave and come back. You know, because he had a, you know, yeah, because he had a place in another country, so he just up and leave, and so the kids always felt dad, you know, leaving, right, and it felt,
Yeah.
and the energy was unsupportive. If we have a lack of support from the masculine energy, which is father is a representative of that, and I have to be general because when I work with somebody individually, I got to figure out what it is for that individual. But in general, it is this lack of support from the father. Then the person's never going to always going to be working hard for the money, always struggling back and forth, even if they do it at a higher level of income, because they didn't feel this support. And as soon as we do create that inner masculine support within us, whether we're a man or a woman, in fact,
So how do we do that?
again, we have to resolve our father issue at the soul to cell level. That's what I help people do. We have to get our cells to let go, our subconscious mind, and our localized soul body that's been poked full of holes, of negativity that's running us, and dissolve that. As we do, we become into greater wholeness. Wholeness is greater connection to our heart and our higher soul self, and then that starts raising our consciousness, and then we become, again, healthier, happier, more successful.
So
Happiness,
instead of leaky gut syndrome, we have leaky soul syndrome.
well, leaky soul syndrome is causing all the other leaks,
There you go.
including the gut, even though you could use some good bacteria in there and stop eating
Mhm.
you know genetically altered food.
Well, there's the physical and then there's the metaphysical too, right? We've got quantum, and what we're talking about is on healing on a quantum level. So when you heal the energy, you're talking about healing the energy, and that affects healing the physical.
Right, having that energy dissolve the negativity in the energy. As the energy becomes whole and perfect, it radiates down to our physical body and heals it, and it also radiates out into our reality to heal our reality. I've literally had people who were like abused by a boss, and it was really their mother who abused them, have them heal that at the cell to the soul level. So they heal the
Mhm.
fibromyalgia, the pain, the depression, the anxiety, the woeist me, and the being beat up and rejected and all that stuff, and literally came back to work, and that boss quit
Oh, wow.
and left her reality a year before their retirement. That's like unheard of because she changed her reality. She was the only person that this boss picked on, that abused. It was just her. When she
Mm.
changed the energy, there was no one else to abuse in the company. They had to leave. They couldn't. There wasn't an energy
So
match.
his energy hadn't changed. His energy still wanted to pick on somebody. There's no one
Right.
to pick on, so he left. I see. I get
Yeah.
it.
So yeah.
Okay.
So people go like, "Oh, that person." Well, you change your inner reality, and your outer reality will change.
I know this absolutely works because it
You also
absolutely
make your
works in my
choices
own.
with your new reality too.
Yeah, it's the perspective you have on the life. If you believe the negative is going to happen, then the negative is going to happen because you're looking for it to happen. You're attracting it. You're not seeing any other way for it to attract to come to you. We're all magnets. It's just proven in the fact that we're mostly water, and in the water, the tides and the moon, right?
Right.
So
And all
connect
those beliefs, which is a thought and a feeling merged together, a thought,
microcosm,
I'm not good
microcosm.
enough, and then that makes me feel sad, mad, horrible, and scared, then that's what runs your body. And then that vibration changes your body into dis-ease, changes your life into lack of ease and harmony and joy and love and all those things that we really want, right? But once we dissolve the want and the need and the fear of not having and the wounds that are creating whatever these thousands of beliefs are. When I work with people, literally, I don't even need to find most of the beliefs. I figured out how to just access the operating system and just clear the whole platform. So 200 beliefs that we don't even have to look for or know what they are. They just dissolve and they're gone. And so when someone goes through a course of care with me, thousands of beliefs that are running their life with those low vibrations
It really is
dissolve.
just like a computer. So it's like I have a Mac, so I don't know if this resonates with PC owners, but every once in a while things get all messed up and clogged, and you have to remove all of the documents and all the good stuff that you want in there and clean off the operating system, put in a whole new operating system, and then bring the documents and things back. And as long as you're not bringing the corruption back, you're good. So what
But
you basically do is you work with the operating system and you clean that up because you can't take it out, but you actually clean it up. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's pretty close. We're going to take that operating system, that ego operating system, that fear-based operating system, and defrag it
Mhm.
and dissolve the programs that's making it run on fear-based reactions and responses that are pain and disease in our life, whether that it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual,
Mhm.
financial, relational, social, dis-ease. And then when we reboot it, we want to reboot up to the mainline computer, the God computer. So we want to upgrade into that higher consciousness and connect up with that. Now that's what's now feeding us and running us. And this is not a religious thing. I literally treated three different religions, people of different major religions today.
Yeah,
And,
well, you're getting
and it's,
another whole subject. Let's take
yeah.
one more commercial break before the end of the day here, and we'll come back and we'll sum it all up with Dr. Doug Lehrer. Get your phones up, put your cameras on. One more gift for you. Scan the QR code, please. So we're back with Dr. Doug Lehrer, and we're talking about the 7 keys to healing consciousness. Let's summarize everything that you have brought with us today, because we've got your gift. We've scanned. People can scan the gift. We can go back into the Facebook Live, the LinkedIn Live, and on YouTube and rewatch that part to get to the commercial. So you can. Who wants to get to the commercial, right? Most people scan through them, but no. We want you to go to the commercial to get the goodies, and that'll be about the 7 core wounds. So you said that we're born with them. I think what you really are saying is that our soul comes in to experience them.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Remember, the gift has the 7 core traumas. So traumas and wounds are 2 different things. So we talked a bit about wounds. I'd like to talk about traumas right now because that's what's on the gift. And
Well, you got 1 minute and then we're done.
I
So
know. All right. So here it
we're gonna have
goes.
to have show.
If you want to raise your consciousness, the key is this: your body is already telling it. Your body leaves clues. Whatever dis-ease, whatever pain, whatever physical condition, if you treat the cause of that, the trauma that's creating that, and dissolve that, that'll heal your body. It'll heal the emotions and the mind that's been disturbed from the trauma. You'll resolve the trauma and you'll raise your consciousness. So it all happens at the same time. So the fastest way to raise your consciousness is find the number one trauma and then the number 2 and 3, but we've got to resolve them from the soul to the cell. As we do that, as we resolve it, then the body heals. Your cells heal. You heal. Your emotions heal. Your mind heals. Your localized soul body heals. You heal mind, body, soul, trinity. Boom, you've raised your consciousness. So that's
All right.
That's the key. There you go.
So we're going to be coming back next. Dr. Doug will be coming back next week, and we'll be talking to him on a different level, but he'll be in a variety of our shows. We have 3 different shows, and on Thursday, we're going to be talking to Schroeder Nordholt, who'll be speaking to us about our voice and the impact, the resonance, and the vibration of our voice, and how that can make us money. And next week on this show, we will have Zen Benefiel talking about how to live out loud. And now we're going to have to close our show off and bring Dr. Doug Lehrer back, because we're not finished talking about these codes of consciousness. And I want to hear more. So he will definitely be back.
So tune in
Next week.
Absolutely. That's it.
Multiple streams. Come on back.